అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. సర్వేభ్యో నమస్కారః. నమో నమః. గురుభ్యో నమః. Today is the last day of the 3-lecture series by Dr. CSR Prabhu garu. Let us start the session by paying respects to our country by reciting Vande Mataram by Challa Chittibabu garu. Challa Chittibabu garu, please.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam, Sufalam, Malayaj Sitalam, Sasya Syamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Subrajyosna pulakitayamini pullakusumita drumadala shobhini suhasini sumadhura bhashini sukhadam varadam mataram vande mataram. Vande Mataram. Namaskar. బాబు గారు మీరు మ్యూట్లో ఉన్నారు.
వందే మాతరం. ధన్యవాదములండి చాలా చిట్బాబు గారు. Now let us request Jayashree garu to chant Prarthana, please.
1 minute meditation and 3 times Omkara and Prarthana. Oh. Om Ganana Tva Ganapatikum Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmana Brahmanaspata Ana Shunvannoti Visidhasadanam. Om Sri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha. प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती दीनामवित्र्यवतु. ॐ श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः. गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे. न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मां पाहि गुरो. ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ధన్యవాదాలండి.
హరి ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. ధన్యవాదములండి జయశ్రీ గారు.
ధన్యవాదాలు గురుగారు.
Thank you so much. Now let us request our Guruji, Dr. CSR Prabhu garu, to start the webinar, please.
Yes, today we will be continuing the Aparoksha Anubhooti, last part, third part. So normally the Yoga Darshana and the Vedanta Darshana, there are two different darshanas in the 6 darshanas. We have the Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. These are the 6 darshanas we have covered in our previous lectures. The sequence given now is indicating the time sequence as well. The oldest first is Sankhya Darshana, the second is Yoga Darshana, the third is Nyaya Darshana, and the fourth is Vaiseshika Darshana, and the fifth is Mimamsa, and finally it is Vedanta Darshana. So the evolution of philosophical thought models and the Darshana evolution in terms of the complexity or in terms of the diversity is visible in this sequence of 6. There is a very important subject of Shaddarshana Samanvaya, that is Samanvaya or integration of the 6, or justification or the integration of these 6. Normally people may think, or you also may have thought that each darshana is independent, which is true. Each darshana is independent. It originated independently at different times, and the Sutrakaras who wrote the sutras of that darshana are also independent and different people at different times. Sankhya Darshana is by Maharshi Kapila, is one of the avatars of Lord Vishnu. He is the son of Devahuti. The great thing is, he being, even though he is son, he was the guru of his own mother, that is Devahuti. He gave the knowledge of Sankhya to Devahuti first, and the Sankhya Sutras are there today. We have covered it in our lectures on darshanas at length, in depth, and Sankhya presents itself even in Bhagavad Gita in a big way, and it continues to be present as the fundamental framework of Prakriti and Purusha, even in the subsequent darshanas and subsequent texts like Yoga Darshana. Yoga Darshana is supposed to be nothing but Sankhya Darshana added with Ishvara. There is no Ishvara in Sankhya, only Prakriti and Purusha are there. In Yoga Darshana, Ishvara is very much present, but otherwise the framework is same as the Sankhya Darshana. And Yoga Darshana is a practical framework of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Practice. And these yogangas, Ashtanga Yoga, are repeated in various stages in various other darshanas as well as texts like Bhagavad Gita. In addition to the Yoga Upanishads, as you know, we have already discussed all these things. You can see my lectures on Yoga Upanishads also in the list of my lectures under Indica Moksha channel, which I have recently shared that playlist in the group of this course. Now, the point I'm trying to make is the elements of Yoga Darshana have gone into even Mimamsa, even Agama Shastra, because every puja which you perform, you must have performed many pujas like Satchnarayana Vratam, Varalakshmi Vratam, Ganapati Puja, etc., etc. Everywhere Yoga Darshana will find its presence strongly. They'll ask you to do pranayama first. They'll ask you to sit straight. They'll ask you to do dhyana. So the features, the practical aspects of Yoga Darshana are present in every single activity in our life, in Sandhya also, in any puja, any upasana, any vratam, or any ritual. The pranayama and dharana and dhyana are very much available, very much essential, compulsory. Now, even in the Mimamsa Darshana, the various rituals like yajnas, they also will have certain amount of Yoga Darshana's presence in terms of pranayama and in terms of dharana, dhyana. Samadhi is nothing but deep absorption in dhyana. Now what is happening is that in the Vaiseshika Darshana, Yoga Darshana is present at many places. It has been mentioned. Atmastha Yoga. He has defined yoga. Vaiseshika is basically physics, but he has referred to many other topics, including yoga. He had given a definition of yoga as being self-established. Atmastha Yoga. In fact, in Ayurveda also, the word health. What is the word for health in Sanskrit in Ayurveda? Swasthya. Swastha, swasthya. Swastha is nothing but Atmastha. And Atmastha is swastha, and a state of happy state of being in your own self is called swasthya. That is health. Of course, health has been defined as samadhatuhu, samagnihi, samadmana kriya, prasanna atma indriya manaha swasthya ityuchyate. A state of existence of within your own self. That means without distractions outside. And being happy, prasanna, like a small child is always happy, smiling, jumping, and screaming also, and clapping also. Prasanna Atma Indriya Manaha. Happy in mind, happy in senses, happy in self. Prasanna Atmendriya Manaha Swasthya Ityuchyate. So what can be more important or better or good or happier than this? So Yoga Darshana is central. On 21st, we have the Yoga Day. I'm going to Pragati Resorts to demonstrate Sukshma Vyayama in the Yoga Day early morning. Now the yoga, as I have been trying to make you appreciate in the last 5 minutes, is that it is present everywhere. It is present in Sankhya. I mean, it is nothing but Sankhya. Yoga is nothing but Sankhya. I mean, yoga is not present in Sankhya, but Sankhya is present in yoga. So, and yoga is Seshwara Sankhya with Ishvara Sankhya. And it is present in subsequent, like Vaiseshika. And it is present in the Mimamsa, in the rituals. Not only the Vedic rituals, the rituals are of 3 types: Srauta Karma, Smarta Karma, and Pauranika Karma. Srauta Karma means Vedic rituals like Somayagam, Agnishthomam, Atiratram, Vajapayam, Chayanam, and so on. Only these Srautis, that is the Vedic scholars, perform this for the benefit of the environment, total environment, and therefore the total society. They are not meant for individual benefit purposes. They are meant for the total environmental purification. In other words, to purify the elements of nature and get good rains and so on. Whereas this Smarta Karma, the second category, is coming out of the various Smarta rituals like Rudra Yagam, Chandi Yagam, Lakshmi Yagam, Ganapati Yagam, Ganapati Homam, or even the Navagraha Homas. All these are individual based. The Sankalpa mentions the individual's requirements of Kshema, Sthairya, Dhairya, Abhaya, Vijaya, Ayurarogya, Aishwarya, Abhivrudha. So all these rituals have dharana, dhyana, pranayama in them, without which the concentration is not there. Without concentration, nothing will come out. Then the final darshana, where we are now concerned in this lecture today, is the Vedanta Darshana. So in Vedanta Darshana, what is the objective? The objective is to achieve self-realization, Atma Jnana or Brahma Jnana, which are same, because Atman and Brahman are one and the same. Brahman means God, Atman means self. God himself is the self of all. Aham Atma Gudakesha, Sarva Bhutashaya Sthitaha, Ahamadincha Madhyincha Bhutana Manta Evacha. He declared clearly in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the self of all. So now the point is, in this Vedanta Darshana, what is the place of Yoga Darshana? Before we go into that, we should also examine the personality involved in this. The author of this Aparoksha Anubhooti is Adi Shankaracharya, whom we pray every day, who is the Guru of Gurus, all of us. So Adi Shankaracharya is normally understood as the propounder of the Advaita Siddhanta of the Vedanta Darshana. He has written hundreds of books, are all there in a complete works of Shankaracharya called Shankara Grantha Ratnavali. And I am covering a course on that. in Usmania University, Surabharati Samiti, every Friday. But I am proposing to you also, I mean to VSS and VYV also, to have a separate course on Vedanta Darshana, Advaita Vedanta. Of course, there are separate traditions of Visishta Advaita, Advaitas, and Dvaita, Advaita, and so on and so forth. Suddha Advaita and so on. But we are focusing on Advaita of Adi Shankaracharya. So in this approach of Adi Shankaracharya of Vedanta Darshana, the Vedantic approach is to achieve jnana, Brahmajnana realization through the Vedanta Vakya Vichara and Shravana Manana Nididhyasa. Vedanta Vakyas are Mahavakyas, that is Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma. Transcendental supreme knowledge is Brahman. Ayamatma Brahma. This self is Brahman. Tattvamasi, you are that. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma. These are the Mahavakyas, which are the sum and substance of the entire Vedas. All the four Vedas have one each Mahavakya at least. They should primarily four Mahavakyas, but another one or two are also added. So now the point here is that these Mahavakyas, which I told just now, they are publicly told, they are not secrets. In fact, they are written in big, big letters on the flags of the various Shankar Mats. 4 Shankar Mats in 4 directions of the country. They have 4 Mahavakyas, each one written on their flag as their slogan. The slogan of Sringeri Shankar Mat, under whose jurisdiction we are all falling, Aham Brahmasmi is the slogan. And similarly, other 3 Shankar Mats, the Puri and Dwarka and Adri, they also have their own slogans. And these are given by Adi Shankaracharya himself in his own Matham Naya, the will he wrote. The orders he gave for the Mathas, Matham Naya, the constitution as given in his will, constitution of each Mathas, the jurisdictions, the areas of jurisdiction, functions, roles, and responsibilities of each Matha. So why I am telling all this is that such fundamental doctrine of oneness, Advaita, of the whole universe, the environment, and you and God. There are only 3 fundamental entities. Jiva, that is you, I, Ishvara, God, and Prakriti or environment, Srishti, Jagat. Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. Only 3 are there. And how you define these 3 and how you have the relationship of these 3 is determining all the different Siddhantas, Advaita, Advaita, Visishta Advaita, etc., etc. So Advaita says all 3 are one. Jagan Mithya, Brahma Satyam, Jivo, Brahmaiva, Naparaha. The universe or Jagat is an illusion. It appears to exist. It exists in practical life, in practical reality, but in the absolute sense, it does not exist. So the universe does not exist, Jagan Mithya, in absolute sense. In relativity sense, it exists. We know we are now assembling in this course, we are talking, I am talking, you are listening. In the practical realm, the Jagat universe is a reality. Maya. Maya has Vyavaharika Satta. But in the absolute level of existence, Jagat does not exist. Jagat Mithya, it's Maya. But what exists? Brahman, Bhagavan, Ishvara, alone exists. And what about the individual jiva, the poor fellow, that is you and I? Actually, we are not separate. We are part and parcel of God. Ishvara, Brahman, Bhagavan, Paramatma, Parabrahman, whatever name you call it. Jagan Mithya, Brahma Satyam, Jivo, Brahmaiva, Na Aparaha. It is not Brahma Jivaiva. If it is Brahma Jivaiva, then it is Ahankara of Jiva. It is the other way around. Jivo Brahmaiva. Because Ahamatma Kudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Sthitaha. Amadincha Madhyancha Bhutanam Antayevacha. He declared, I am the self of all. So this self, who is universal self, the one self, is the only truth. Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma, one without a second. So once that is understood, accepted, realized, experienced, felt, and continuously felt, continuously be aware of, then that is a state of liberation. You are liberated. Otherwise, what happens? Otherwise, you are totally trapped. You are lost into the chaos of the Maya of the Jagat. I don't have to tell you. The moment you come out of this class, what will happen? You can see it yourself. Or you open the TV and see what is happening. Maya Moha. People are totally lost into the madness of this world. So once this realization, jnana of oneness comes, then what will happen? You will see only oneness, and that is yourself and God being one. Not only in me, but also in you. That means there is no difference between you and me. There is no difference between any person or any animal or plant and me. The same Supreme Being is existing everywhere. So, Sarva Bhutashaya Sthitaha. So that realization of oneness, what will it result in? It will result in realization of oneself in all, which results in the realization of yourself in everything. Sarva Bhutasthamaatmanam, Sarva Bhutani Chatmani, Ikshyate Yoga Yuktatma, Sarvatra Samadarshinaha. So that equanimity will result. So equanimity, oneness, will result finally in what? In which emotion? Love. Only when you see oneness, you can experience or feel love. You will not love anyone who is other than yourself. The moment you see the second, the other, I and the other, the moment you see the other entity or other person, then the problem starts. There will be a lot of other emotions. Love may turn into hatred. Hatred will result in war. You are seeing what is happening today in the world. So the endless madness of conflict, the endless madness of conflict and war is continuously happening due to not realizing the oneness. Please note this. If you realize oneness, kam mohaha kashokaha ekatvam anupashyataha. Where is delusion and where is sorrow? If you realize the oneness. So that is the liberated state, moksha, freedom. So from that concept of oneness of the entire existence comes the concept of Vasudhaika Kutumbakam. For ordinary blokes, there will be you and me. But for the broad-minded people, the whole universe is one family. Vasudhaika Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one existence, one environment. This is the core message of the Indian wisdom. to the modern day world and modern day problems. So in the modern day problems, the problems originate due to lack of this kind of realization, lack of this kind of understanding, lack of this kind of oneness experience or realization. So Advaita therefore becomes fundamental, essential requirement for world peace and well-being and welfare. This is the point I'm trying to convey to you. Now, what Shankaracharya has done in this book, Aparoksha Anubhooti, he is interpreting the Yoga Darshana steps of Ashtangas in terms of Advaita. And at the end, he says, those who don't follow this, they're body level yogis. So normally yoga is at body level, all right. That means how to sit, how to breathe, how to concentrate. These are fundamental principles of yoga. But in this particular text, the last part of it today we are covering, he is interpreting all of them as nothing but various versions of Advaita. It is a scholarly depiction. It is very interesting. What is asana, he is giving new definition. What is pranayama, he is giving new definition. What is yama, he is giving new definition. Yamo hi niyamastyagaha maunam deshascha kalay asanam mulabandhascha dehas samyancha druksthitihi. 102 I am reading. Prana samyamanam chaiva pratyaharascha dharana atmadhyanam samadhischa proktani angani vaikramat. So we know these yogangas, yama, yamohi, niyamaha, tyaga. He has added some more. Tyaga, maunam, desha, kala, asanam, mulabandha, deha samyam, druksthitihi, prana samyamanam, pratyaharaha, dharana, adhyanam, atmadhyanam, samadhischa. But each one of them is going to give a innovative, his own new definition. Sarvam brahmedi vijnanat indriyagrama samyamaha yamo yamiti samproktaha abhyasaniyo muhurmuhu. So what he's saying in 103 is that what is yama? Yama literally means control. Kala yama is time controller. That is Kala yama. Time who is the controller. Yamo ayam iti samproktaha abhyasaniyo muhurmuhu. This yama is to be practiced again and again, and that is defined here as, in the Advaitic terminology, Sarvam Brahmeti Vijnanat, realizing everything is Brahman, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Mahavakya. Everything is Brahman or God. Therefore, you control your senses. Sajatiya pravahascha vijatiya tiraskruti niyamo hi paranando niyamat kriyate budhaihi. So what is niyama? Now, of course, if you go back to the Yoga Darshana, yama is defined as satya, himsa, brahmacharya, asteya, parigraha. And why these 5 principles are there in existence? Because they are the oneness. If you are realizing oneness, you will not cheat, you will not hurt, you will not steal the other person, because the other person and you are only one. Sajatiya pravahascha vijatiya tiraskrutihi. Sajatiya pravritti pravaha means the flow of oneness and rejection of multiplicity. Vijatiya tiraskrutihi. This is called niyama according to him. But in the Yoga Darshana, niyama means tapasvabdhyayisvara pranidhana niyamaha. Again, this is connected to this, because if you have this attitude, those things will be justifiable. Why you should behave like that. Tyaga prapancharupasya chidatmanavalokanat tyago hi mahatam pujya sadhyo mokshamayo yataha. Tyaga is now defined as you to give up What is tyaga? To sacrifice, to give up. What is to be given up? Prapancha Rupa, the duality, the multifarious universe has to be given up. Chidatmatva Avalokanat, by the proper perspective and understanding of the self. Tyago hi Mahatam Pujyaha, it is great, highly respected action of tyaga. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena, tyagena ekena amrutatva manashuhu. There is a famous statement in the Upanishads which is chanted in all the temples and mathas. Not by karma, not by money, not by children and vamsha, only by tyaga you will reach immortality. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena, tyagena ekena amrutatva manashuhu. You become immortal only by tyaga, by renunciation, by giving up, by sacrifice, by giving to others, not by accumulating money, na dhanena, na karmana, go on working, nor by having children and grandchildren. They are not going to give you immortality. All the three are not going to give you immortality. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha yan maunam yogi virgamyam tadbhajet sarvada buddha. Very famous quotation from the Upanishads, where the mind cannot reach and the words return back. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. The Atma Tattvam, Brahma Tattvam, Parabrahma Tattvam, Omkaram is not possible to be explained in words, though we are trying, not possible to reach through the mind of our analysis or intellect, though we are trying, because it is avangmanasa gocharam. So that level is now being defined as maunam, silence. And in the context of silence, let me quote Meher Baba. When the mouth is silent, the mind is active. When the mind is silent, the heart is active, emotions. When the heart is silent, soul is active, Jivatma. When soul is silent, God is active. When you surrender Sharanagati of the soul, Jiva, into the Ishvara, then God, Ishvara is active. So until then, it is not possible to realize. For example, when your mouth is very active, you are not in a position to think. So first thing is you have to keep your mouth shut in order to make your mind active. And second thing is, mind active is just thinking, logical analysis, and there is no emotion, there is no feeling. You know what I mean? Nowadays, we have turned all our children into machines, robots. They have no feelings. That is the kind of education we have been imparting. Feeling, feeling of love, feeling of emotions. The children have small babies, small kids will have those emotions. But as they grow, they turn into machines, robots. They become emotionless. They have no feeling for their own mother or father or brother. They turn into robots. What is happening today is that the artificial intelligence is an activity where machines become humanized and humans become mechanized. Humans are becoming robots and robots are becoming humans. Humanoid robots are there and robotized humans are there. This is unfortunate fallout of the technological developments. So we have to stop it and correct it and control it. For that purpose, we are propagating Sanatana Dharma to protect this universe from total collapse and self-destruction, which is on the way. Unless and until there is Sanatana Dharma, Advaita and yoga and all these subjects put into practice, there is no way that the human society will survive, given the trend in mechanization, robotization, the dehumanization. So now, the point he's trying to make here is that this Maunam is yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. Yang maunam yogi virgamyam. That maunam which is reached by the yogis, tat bhajet sarvada buddha. A Buddha, an intelligent person like you, knowledgeable person like you, should always practice, enjoy that maunam. Vacho yanmaran nivartante tad vaktum kena shakyate prapancho yadi vaktavyam sopi shabda vivarjitaha itiva tad bhaved maunam satam sahaja sanjitam. Satam for good people. Sahaja, it is called sahajavastha, being in your own true natural state. Vacho yan manan nivartante. Words stop. Tad vaktum kena shakyate. That reality, that experience, not possible to be expressed. Prapancho yadi vaktavyaha sopi shabda vivarjitaha. If at all the description of the universe is to be made, it is devoid of words. There are no words. Itiva tad bhaven maunam satam sahaja sanjitam. So sahajavastha, people are in maunam all the time. Giram maunam tu balanam prayuktam brahmavadibhihi. So only through the maunam, a person who practices maunam is called muni, or the practice which is practiced by a muni is called maunam. And for jnanis, it is natural. Mauna vyakhya prakadita vara brahma tattvam yuvanam varshishtante asadrisa gunairavrtai brahmanishthai acharyendram sukam karakalita chinmudram anandarupam swatmaramam muditavadanam dakshinamurti mide. What did Dakshinamurti do? He practiced maunam. He gave a lecture on in silence. Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam. Yuvanam is a young man. He gave a lecture of silence. And what is the audience doing? Audience, who are the audience? Brahmanishthas, they are great people. Sanaka Sanandana, Sanat Kumar, Sanat Sujata, Brahma Manasaputra, they are already very, very enlightened people. They had doubts to be sought, to be clarified, and their doubts were clarified in the very presence, the silent presence of Dakshinamurti. Mauna Vyakhya Pragatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam Varsishtante Rasadrisa Gunairavrtam Brahmanishthai Sad Rishiganai Brahmanishthai Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandarupam. He is in a state of Ananda, bliss. Swatmaramam, by enjoying his own self, being established, his own self. Mudita Vadanam, he is smiling. And he gave a lecture of silence. Guros Chitram Vatatarur Mule Vruddha Sishya Guru Yuva. What a wonder. At the root of a banyan tree, Vatataru. Vruddha Sishya Guru Yuva. The disciples are older than the teacher. Gurostu Maunavyakhyanam Sishyastu Chinna Samshaya. What a contrast. I'm screaming out every day for hours together. And even then your doubts continue to exist, and that is fine. There's nothing wrong in that. But in this case, in the case of Dakshinamurti, he is not screaming. He is keeping his mouth shut. He is in his own self state, but he is so great in his power. Dakshinamurti is none other than Shiva. So Shiva appeared as Dakshinamurti under a banyan tree facing south. And all the rishis and the Brahmanishthas, Sanaka Sanandana, Sanat Kumar, Sanat Suja, they are great. Each one of them is a great person. They are all sitting around him and their doubts are cleared without opening the mouth. Chitram, what a wonder. Vatatarur Mule Vruddha Sishya Gurur Yuva. Gurostu mauna vyakhyanam sishyastu chinna samshaya. Mauna vyakhya prakatita param brahma tattvam yuvanam varsishtante rasadrisha sadrishigunai ravrutai brahmanishtai Acharyendram karakalita chinmudram anandarupam swatmaramam muditavadanam dakshinamurti mide. Nidhaye sarvavidyanam bhisaje bhavaroginam gurave sarvalokanam dakshinamurti mide. So that Dakshinamurti state of silent exposition of the supreme knowledge of supreme truth is being referred here as Maunam. Yanmulam sarvabhutanam yanmulam chittabandhanam mulabandha sadasedyo yogyam rajayoginam. Before that, what is asana? Is giving his own definition of asana. Sukheneva bhaved yasmin ajasram brahmachintanam asanam tadvijaniyat etaram sukhanasam. So Patanjali defined asana as sthiram sukhamasana. Asana is a posture, position in which you can sit. You can exist for a long time comfortably, sukha and sthira, fixed way without getting disturbed, moving left and right, up and down and forward and backward. Fixed way we can sit. That is called asana. Sthiram sukham asana. So here is defined as sukhena eva bhaved yasmin ajasram brahmachintanam. Again in the brahmavastha, brahmachintana avastha, when you sit comfortably, atmastha. That's what Dakshinamurti is saying. Actually, he is describing the Dakshinamurti's conditions of existence. Asanam, that is called asanam. What is Siddhasana? Siddham yat sarvabhutadi viswadhishtanam avyayam yasmin siddhasamavishta tadvai siddhasanam viduhu. Siddhasanam is an asana in which siddhas are sitting. Who are siddhas? Siddhas are not sadhakas. We are all sadhakas. So, siddhas are those who have achieved success, who have finished their sadhana. You know, we have the various species. We have humans. The evolution of humans ends with samadhi. So man becomes Superman after samadhi. My Guru Swami Sriram Bharati used to tell me. So that is evolution ends and he evolves into a Siddha Purusha, Siddha Yogi. So there are Siddhas who are identified, encountered in various contexts and occasions. And the whole medicine called Siddha medicine is attributed to the Siddhas who have powers, extraordinary powers. And even in humans, you can see some became Siddhas, Siddha Purushas. Like Ravana Maharshi and so on, you can say they have reached that stage, or even Ramakrishna Prabhu. Siddham yat sarvabhutadi vishwadhishtanam avyayam. Now he's using the word Siddha in a different context. Sadhya and Siddha. Sadhaka, Sadhya and Siddha. So sadhya is something which is achieved through sadhana. So if you go on struggling, one day you will reach there like that. That is for normal things. Like IAS examination, you go on struggling. One day you may succeed. Here it's not like that. The Advaita Jnana, Brahma Jnana, Brahma Sthiti, Brahmi Sthiti is not sadhya but it is siddha. It is already there. You like I told you two different stories. I'll tell you once again now, if you forgot. There is a tiger cub which got lost and got mixed up with a goat herd, group of goats. So it was brought up from childhood as a goat. So it kept on shouting like a goat, bah, 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 like that. even when till it grew up as an adult tiger, even adult tiger was saying ma 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 ma. So it was not felt anything wrong. It was because it was brought up there. Like we are all brought up in English medium, so we speak English like that. We are saying ma 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 like a goat. So one day a real tiger came from outside the forest. When it saw this tiger, it was shocked to see, surprised that this tiger is living with goats and shouting ma 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 ma. So that real tiger accompanied this goat tiger to a pond, and in the reflection in the water, it showed who that entity was. That was tiger and not a goat. So even though told you are tiger and you are not goat, you should roar like a tiger, not say ma 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 like a goat. The fellow didn't agree. He said, no, I am only a goat. I'll say ma 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 like that. That's what is happening with us. So the question is, when will that goat become tiger? That goat is there is no goat. There is only already tiger, but it is being superimposed as a goat. Like a rope is there, a snake is superimposed on the rope in darkness due to ignorance. So when you put the light on, your knowledge will dawn to realize that it is not a snake, but it's a rope. So in this way, the second story is, there was a king who went to forest with his son, small boy, and his army for hunting. So they hunted whole day, and when they returned back in the evening, the son was missing. They tried a lot, but he was lost. So they came back home weeping, and gradually they forgot about him for a long time. But after 30 years, they found a man in the forest, and he had some birthmarks, identification mark moles, which are similar to what the son of the king had when he was lost in the childhood. So they brought him to Hyderabad. They took him to CCMB, CDFD, and performed DNA analysis compared with the father's DNA, and it is confirmed that he is the same person. So they told him, all right, look, you are now actually the king, because 30 years means king. The old king became very old, he is about to die. So when they told this tribal person, you are the king, come on, sit on the throne. He said, no, 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 I am not the king. I am a forest dweller. I am a hunter. I am an illiterate person. I am an idiot. So he continued to be in that state. So the question now arises in Vedanta, when will the fellow become king? He is already the king. So the same logic applies to all of us. We are already divine, as Vivekananda also said. Every living being, every human is potentially divine, but we have become humanized and we have become dehumanized as well. We become mechanized, we become animalistic. So when will we become divine? We are already divine. You have to recognize that fact. That is Sahajavastha. Siddha. That is why he says that is Siddha, Siddhasana. Siddham yat sarvabhutanam viswadhishtanam aveyam yasmin siddha samavishta tadvai siddhasanam viduhu. Now, Molabandha, what is Molabandha? Yan moolam sarvabhutanam. Mula is root. That which is the root of all existence, all beings. Yan moolam chitta bandhanam. That which is the root of controlling the mind. Molabandha sada savyo yogyo asa asau raja yoginam. So for the raja yogis, Molabandha is nothing but being established in the Mola Karana. Mola, that is the root cause, root. Yavani cheye janinchu jagamevani lopalanundu లీనమై యవ్వని యందు డిందు పరమేశ్వరుడెవ్వడు మూల కారణం వెవ్వడు. Mola Bandha. It is now being defined by Shankaracharya in this text as being tied up with the Moola Karana, that is Moola Bandha. Whereas This is something else in the Hatha Yoga. Anganam samatam vidyat same brahmani liyate nochennaiva samanatvam rajutvam sushka vrakshavat. So what is asana is described as a stage where you have to sit erect and samam kaya siro grivam dharayan achalam sthiraha samprekshanaasigagram swam. This is chanavalokayan in the 6th chapter. Sitting erect, samam kaya siro grivam, body, that is backbone and neck and head, all in one line, samam. Now that sama is now his anganam samatam vidyat same brahmani liyate, being absorbed in Brahman is called samatva, he says. Equanimity. Nochennaiva samanatvam rujutvam sushka vrikshavat. If without that brahmakara vritti, just sitting in a straight line is just like a dry tree. There is no life in it. Drishtim jnanamayim krutva pasyet brahmamayam jagat. So now, nasagra lokini, in meditation, you sit erect and then concentrate on the bhrumadhya nasagra. They will say, what is that nasagrava Drishtim jnanamayim krutva pasyet brahmamayam jagat. So make your drishti jnanamayi and see the jagat as brahmamayam. Such a drishti is called sa drishti parama udara sa nasagravavalokini. Drashta darshana drishyanam viramo yatra va bhavet. Drishtis tatraiva kartavya sa nasagravalokini. So normally physically means you focus here like this. That is just physical. But here is telling higher level of drashta, drishya and druk being merged into one, the absorption, the samadhi state. That is the real nasagrava Chittadi sarvabhaveshu brahmatvena eva bhavanat nirodha sarvavrittinam pranayama sauchyate. What is pranayama according to him? Yama, ayama is control. So in all existence, sarvabhaveshu brahmatva bhavanat, to realize only one Brahman in every existence, right from chitta, your own chitta to other chitta to other entities. Nirodha sarvavrittinam, yogas chittavritti nirodha, arresting all activities. So in the Antakarana, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, there in the Vedanta Darshana, there are 4, Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, whereas Yoga Darshana is only one, that is Chitta. The terminology differs, where Chitta itself means all the 4, but here all the 4 are different. Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara and Chitta. Chitta refers to the memory. Nishedhanam prapanchasya rechakakhya samiranaha. Now he is describing what is pranayama and rechaka poraka. When you breathe out, what you should breathe out? Nishedhanam prapanchasya. The worldliness has to be rejected out by breathing out. Brahmaevasmiti yavruti porako vayuriritaha. And then when you breathe in, poraka, Brahmaevaham, aham brahmasmi, Brahmaevaham, that is the poraka. Tatastad vritti naischelyam, and being established in that Brahmaevaham vritti, kumbhaka prana samyamaha, by arresting the breath, kumbhaka. Ayam chapi prabuddhanam ajnananam pranapedanam. This is for the jnanis, whereas for the ajnanis, it is only breathing and breathe out and retention of the breath only. Vishayesu atmatam drishtva manas chiti majjanam pratyaharasya vijñeyo abhyasaniyo mumukshubhihi. What is pratyahara for mumukshus? Who are mumukshus? Mumukshus are those who are trying for moksha, liberation. What is that? Vishayesu atmatam drishtva manas. So even in the objects, normal pratyahara is withdraw the mind from external objects and keep in yourself. But here he is going one step further. realize the Brahman as existence, God as an existence in all the objects of the five senses. Vishayeshu Atmanam Drishtva, Atmatam Drishtva, realize the same self in all. So there's nothing you run after. You are already there, and you are here. Manasas Chitimajjanam Pratyaharasya Vijñeyo Abhyasaniyo Mumukshubhihi. This is to be practiced for mumukshus. Yatra yatra manoyati brahmanas tatra darshanat manaso dharanam chev dharana sa paramata. Now dharana deshabandhas chittasya dharana. Patanjali defined fixing the mind on a particular point is called concentration. Now that means the mind is distracting, always going here and there, and bring it back. Yato nischarati manas chanchalamastiram tatastato niyamya etad atmaiva vasham nayet. In the Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, he told how to concentrate. Here he is telling yatra manoyati brahmanas tatra darshanat. Let the mind go anywhere. But what is there in that point? Brahman only. Manaso dharan, that is sarvam khalvidam brahma. That state is called dharana, he says. Sa paramata, the higher dharana. Brahmaivahamasmiti sadvritya niralambataya sthiti dhyana shabdena vikhyata paramanandadayini. So dhyana is the word used for brahmaivaham, aham brahmasmi. That kind of state of existence. That is dhyana. Nirvikarataya vritya brahmakarataya punaha vritti vismaranam samyak samadhi sanyikaha. So what is samadhi? Absorption into the aham brahmasmi state. Nirvikara antakarana vritti, which is followed by nishprapancha brahmakara antakarana vritti. Brahmaivaham. So that is the convergence of yoga and Vedanta. Evam cha akritimanandam tavat sadhamabhyaset. So this nididhyasa, meditation, concentration, contemplation, may be repeated again and again until you are absorbed in ecstasy, in bliss. Anandam, 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 brahmanandam, paramasuktam. So that state, until you reach, you go on practicing. Tata sadhana mukta siddho bhavati. Once you have reached that stage, you don't have to struggle anymore with sadhana, and you are siddha. Siddho bhavati yogirat. Yogi will become siddha. Tat swarupam na chaikasya vishayo manaso giram. So what is his nature? His nature is Brahman only. Tat swarupam na chaikasya vishayo manaso giram. Samadho kriyamane tu vigna yayante vailat. Anusandhana rahityam alasyam bhogalarasam. So to reach this samadhi, now he has reached the convergence point. Samadhi is the ultimate consummation of all spiritual efforts, whether in Raja Yoga, whether in Jnana. This is Jnana Yoga, whether in Bhakti Yoga also. Absorption. Samadhi is a convergence point coming from different directions of different yogas. Layas tamascha vikshepo rasasvadascha sunyata evam vidvigni bahulyam tatyajyam brahmavidashanai. So there are many obstructions to samadhi. Samadho kriyamane tu vigna ayanti vai balat. What are those obstructions? Anusandhana rahityam, lack of practice. Alasyam, laziness. I don't have to tell you all these things. You know very well these obstructions. Bhogalalasam, trying to enjoy things more and more. Layaha tamascha, sleep kind of thing. Vikshepaha, distractions. Rasasvadascha, sunyata. Even sunyata is one stage. We have to go beyond sunyata also. Evam yad vigna bahulyam tyajyam brahmavidashanaihi. Bhavavrityahi bhavatvam, sunyavrityahi sunyata, brahmavrityahi purnatvam, tadha purnatvam abhyaset. So, bhava means emotion, feeling. So with that, like in bhakti, we have bhava, bhakti bhava. So bhava vritya to bhavatvam, shunya vritya to sunya. In Buddhism, they have the sunya vritti, the nothingness. They remain in nothingness. whereas Purnatvam is Brahmatvam. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat, Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Avasishyate. Ye hi vrittim vijananti ye jnatva vardhayantyapि te vai satpurusha dhanya vandhyaste bhuvanatraye. Those who realize this Purnatva Brahma Vritti, they are the best. Yesham Vritti Samavriddha Paripakva cha sa punaha te vai sad brahmatam prapta netare shabdavadinaha. But this is an experience and not just words. Na itare, others cannot reach this Purnatvam who are only in playing with words. Yesham Vritti Samavriddha Paripakva cha punaha Kushala Brahmavartayam Vrittihina Suraginah te api ajnanitaya nunam punarayanti yanti cha. So even though theoretical knowledge of Vedanta may exist, if they are not able to experience the Purnatva Sthiti, is what is the convergence point between yoga and Vedanta. He is admitting, he is asserting, he is declaring, emphasizing that unless and until the experience of the oneness of self is experienced, it is not adequate if you simply speak about it or read about it or hear about it with words. Words will not lead you to realization. They will be such people who are only speaking without anything experience, without any practice of meditation, without any yoga, without any dharana, dhyana, samadhi of the traditional nature as well as the Vedantic nature which is defined. Such people, they will be born again and again because they are lost, they are trapped into the sensory world of enjoyments. They are into attachment. Suraginaha, vrittihina, brahmavartayam vrittihina. They are devoid of the true Brahma kara vritti experience. Tepi ajnana janitaya nunam punarayanti yanti cha. They come back again, they come back again, they come back again. Nimeshardham satishtanti vrittim brahmamayim vina yadha tishtanti brahmadya sanakadya shukadayaha. Even Chaturmukha Brahma, Sanaka Sanandana, Sanat Kumar, Sanat Sujata, or Shuka Maharshi, these people, even 1 second, such jnanis, for 1 second also, they will not be devoid of Brahma Jnana. You should never be deviating even for 1 second, because if you do so, you are trapped. And if you die in that second, you are born with that state of distraction as your next birth. So always remain aham brahmasmi, brahmaivaham, 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 nat samsari. Om ityegaksham brahma vyaharan ma manusmaran ya prayati tyajan deham sayati paramam gati. Me who dies with the parabrahma vritti om, he dies in that, he is liberated. Otherwise, he is born again with the distracted state of mind of desires and attachment. Same thing will pull him back into this world of birth and death, chain of birth and death. Nimeshardham natishtanti, not even 1 second they will be deviating. Vrittim brahmamayim vina. Who? All these people. Brahmadyaha, Sanakadyaha, Shukadayaha. The latest person who has that kind of status is Shuka Maharshi. He was equanimous, he was in Brahmakara sthiti all the time. Karye karanata yata karane sahikaryata nahikaryata karanatum tato pashyet karya bhavi vicharataha. So always contemplate on the karana, not the karya. The cause, original cause, which is Brahman. Karye karanata ayata karane nahi karyata karanatum tato pashyet nashyet karya bhave vicharataha. Atha shuddham bhavedvastu yadvai vacham agocharam Drashtavyam mrudghateneva drishtantena punah punah avangmanasa gocharam suddhastu. The Brahman is avangmanasa gocharam, vacham agocharam suddhavastu. You go on contemplating on Brahman only all the time. Aneneva prakarena vrittir brahmatmika bhavet. So by going on repeating this process, your mental state, you will be Brahmi sthiti. Esha Brahmi sthiti pardha naivam prapya vimuhyati sthitvasyam antakalepi brahma nirvana mrichati. In the second chapter, he declared, this is Brahmi sthiti. Even if you reach for 1 second at the time of death, you are liberated. You will get into Brahma Nirvana. Karanam yatirekena pumanado vilokayet anvayena punastadhi karye nityam prapashyati. So Jnani will always see the Karana and Karya as different, because everything which is apparent is a Karya, there is a Karana behind it, and there is another Karana behind it, and so on, the Mula Karana. యవ్వని చేజనించు జగమెవ్వనిలో పలనుండు లీనమై యవ్వని యందుడిందు పరమేశ్వరుడెవ్వడు మూల కారణం బెవ్వడనాది మధ్యలయుడెవ్వడు సర్వముదాని అయిన వాడెవ్వడు వాని నాత్మజుని నే శరణంబు వేడెదన్. కార్యే హి కారణం పశ్యేత్ పశ్చాత్ కార్యం విసర్జయేత్. కారణత్వం స్వతో నశ్యేద్ అవశిష్టం భవేన్మునిః. భావితం తీవ్రవేగేన వస్తు యన్నిశ్చయాత్మన పుమాంస్తద్ధి భవేత్ శీఘ్రం జ్ఞేయం భ్రమరకీటవత్. By the repeated assertion of Aham Brahmasmi, Brahmakara Vritti will become established in such a way that you really become Brahman. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. By the Brahmara Kitaka Nyaya. Brahmara Kitaka Nyaya is, there is an insect which is always thinking of Brahmara, 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 that is that particular Brahmara, and it becomes Brahmara finally, because that is how it becomes. Adrishyam bhavarupam cha sarvametat chidatmakam savadhanataya nityam swatmanam bhavayet buddhaha. Jnani buddhaha should always be repeating. This process right now is lecturing is Shravana. Then comes Manana, your own internal repetition. Adrishyam bhavarupam cha sarvametat chidatmakam. Everything is pure consciousness. Savadhanataya nityam, with attention. Always swatmanam bhavayet buddha. Always realize yourself to be the pure consciousness, Brahman only. You keep on thinking, Brahmaivaham, Brahmaivaham, samsari Brahmaiva, like that. Drishyam hi adrishyatam nitva ब्रह्माकारेण चिंतयेत् विद्वान् नित्य सुखे तिष्ठेत् धिया चिद्रस पूर्णतया. So the whole universe which you see should be realized and felt and seen as Brahman only. Nitya sukhe tishthe, you will be in permanent happiness state. Dhiya chidrasa purnataya. Chidrasananda, chit satchidananda. Ebhirangai samayukto Raja Yoga udahataha. These are the angas. It's called Raja Yoga. Kinchatva kashayanam hatha yogena samyutaha. This is the Raja Yoga, Yogangas for the mature people only. And those who have not reached that state, they can practice physical Hatha Yoga. And it's accompanied Raja Yoga, which we have discussed already, we have been practicing. This is a higher yoga according to Shankaracharya. Paripakvam mano yesham kevaloyam cha siddhidaha gurudevata bhaktanam sarvesham sulabhojanat. This Raja Yoga, this new Raja Yoga 2, which Shankaracharya is depicting, which I call it Jnana Raja Yoga, is only meant for the mature paripakvam manoyesham kevaloyam cha siddhidaha guru daivata bhaktanam sarvesham sulabhojanat. So it is not impossible to reach those who have dedication, bhakti to Guru and Deva, Guru Daivata Bhaktanam. Right in the beginning, I would like to conclude by quoting what he said in the beginning of this text by analyzing and making you understand this whole issue. Like even in the worldly life, we have many gates of entry. Like you want to get admission into IIT, let us say, then you have to write the IIT joint entrance examination, which is very, very, very tough. So in order to get coaching for IIT joint entrance examination, you have to join an institute like Ramaya Institute or any other institute and study the coaching for IIT. But that Ramaya Institute itself cannot take every child because there are millions of children. They will take only some limited 120 people. So they conduct an examination like IIT entrance examination in a big way, which is attended by thousands, if not lakhs of people to select those 120 people. Because I went through all this for my children, I'm telling you this. So that means first gate is Ramaya gate. We have to get entry into it. Then you may get entry if you are selected in the IIT entrance exam. So to enter into Ramaya Institute entrance exam, to be able to face that, there is another institute called Sharma Institute or any other institute, which is preparing kids in 8th class onwards for attending or trying for Ramaya Institute entrance examination. So this Sharma Institute may conduct another examination to take the students. Like this, it goes on. So here what I am trying to tell here, in order to get the Brahmi Sthiti, Brahmajnana, the Sravana Manana Nididhyasana of the Mahavakyas is the method, but it is possible only for the selected few who pass through the entrance examination. But what is that entrance examination? Having the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. You should have Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. What is that Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti? That is 4. First one is having 6 in it. Shamadamadi Shatka Sampatti. Shamadama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadha. Uparati, Titiksha, Samadha. Then you should have Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekam. What is permanent, what is impermanent, discrimination. Then you should have Ihamutra Pala Bhoga Virakti. Not interested in anything to enjoy in this life or beyond this life. Then finally you need Mumukshutva. You have to be committed, dedicated to achieve moksha. If you don't have all these 4, you are not fit to be given the Vedanta Mahavakya Jnana, Shravana itself. If you have these 4, then you will be given the Shravana qualification to receive the Vedanta Mahavakyas, then Manana, then Nididhyasana, then you will get Siddhi, Moksha. If you don't have this Samadhamal Shatka Sampatti, which is normally the case, then there is one more entrance exam before that, which Shankaracharya gave in this text of Aparoksha Anubhooti only. That is in sloka number 3 of Aparoksha Anubhooti. He gave the prerequisites for Shamadamadi Shatka Sampatti, which is a prerequisite for Brahma Jnana of the Mahavakyas. So what is that? Swavarnashrama dharmena tapasa haritoshanat sadhanam prabhavet pumsam vairagya chatushtayam. The sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, which I told, vairagya is of course one of them. Then Shamadamadi Shatka Sampatti, Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekam, and Mukshatvam, in addition to Yamutra Phala Bhoga Virakti or Vairagya. So how do you get, first of all, those 4, which are the prerequisite qualification for even receiving instructions on Brahmajnana in the Mahavakyas? So for that he has given another 3. First is Swavarnasrama Dharmena. Follow your Varnasrama Dharma, your own Swadharmasrama Varne. You are born in a particular situation, in a particular Varna, in a particular ashrama, you are there at present. You are maybe in Vanaprastha or you are in Grihastha or in nobody is in Sannyasashrama here except Swaminiji, who is our advisor. All others are in either Vanaprastha or in Grihastha. You discharge your duties, responsibilities correctly in that ashrama. That is first point. If you think you can get Brahmajnana moksha by escaping from your existing responsibilities or to be discharged, you are mistaken. That is the first, you discharge your responsibility, number 1. Number 2, perform tapasya. Tapasa. Tapasa means fasting, pranayama, asana, pilgrimage, Ganga Snanam, Chardham Yatra, all these come under tapas. Even various other forms of tapas. And the third one he told is Haritoshana. This is very important point. By satisfying Hari, by making Hari happy. Hari means Narayana, Vishnu, Krishna, Bhagavan, Ishvara. How do you make him happy? There are many ways. In Bhakti Yoga, Kirtana, Jhana, there are Navavidha Bhakti, servitude, Dasatva, or there are also other methods of being a friend or loving as a child, a parent-child, or loving like Radha Krishna, or any other type of relationship. Navavidha Bhakti is there. Hari Toshana, the whole Bhakti Yoga is presented here. This is a very important point. The whole of Bhakti Yoga, including Kirtana, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sri Krishna, Govinda, Hare Murare, He Natha, Narayana, Vasudeva. Chanting, Kirtana, music with it, or even dancing with it, the entire Bhakti movement, or the entire Bhakti Yoga, what is given in the Srimad Bhagavata Purana and in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and also in the other Bhakti Yoga texts like Narada Bhakti Sutras, and there are also other Bhakti Sutras by Hari Toshana. This is the third practice. First is Swadharma, Swavarnasrama Dharma Charena. By discharging your responsibilities in your own Varna and Ashrama. Second is Tapasa, by various tapakriyas, which includes Yajna, Dana, tapo, in the Yoga Sutras, Tapasvadhyaya Isva Pradhanan Kriya Yoga, there is a statement, practical yoga is Tapas, Swadhyaya and Tapasvadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhana. That is same as Haritoshana. So these practical aspects if you practice, then what he says, he is saying in the third sloka, by practicing these 3, Swavarnasrama Dharmena Tapasa Haritoshanat Sadhanam Prabhavet Pumsam Vairagyadi Chatushtayam. Those sadhana chatushtaya sampatti will be generated. Bhavet, Prabhavet, they will be born. So what are those sadhana chatushtaya sampatti? I already told you, I am telling again. First is Shamadamadi Shatka sampatti. Shama, total peacefulness. Dama, total self-control. Shanti and discipline. Peace and discipline in the personality. And Shamadama, Titiksha, tolerance, forbearance. Uparati, self-satisfaction. Shraddha, dedication. Samadhana, that is meditation, concentration, samadhi. And then Nitya Vastu Vivekam. What is real and what is unreal, what is permanent, what is impermanent or temporary. That Viveka. And third is Vairagya, that is not interested in any desires. And the fourth is mumukshutva, very committed to liberation, moksha. If these four are there, then you are fit for Vedanta Jnana, Brahma Jnana as prescribed in the Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, and the Mahavakyas to summarize all this. So that is Sravana, which you have been doing. And second is Manana, you repeat it in your own mind, Nididhyasana, contemplation, deep meditation, absorption. Finally, you achieve Brahmajnana Purnatva, Brahmaivaham, Brahmaivaham, Brahmaivaham. That is Brahmisthiti. So that is the whole track, the path. Thank you. I finished for today.
Thank you, Prabhu Garu. I think you have given a lot of information for people who would like to go through this process. And we'll take up the questions after the Pradhana. Babu Garu.
Okay. Let's go for Pradhana. Jai Shri Garu.
నమస్కారం గురుగారు. స్వస్తి ప్రజాభ్య పరిపాలయంతాం న్యాయేన మార్గేణ మహీమహీషాః గోబ్రాహ్మణేభ్యः శుభమస్తు నిత్యం లోకాः సమస్తాः సుఖినో భవంతు కాలే వర్షతు పర్జన్యः పృథివీ సస్యశాలినీ దేశోऽयं క్షోభరహితో బ్రాహ్మణः సంతు నిర్భయాः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त सन्मङ्गलानि सन्तु स्वस्ति। ధన్యవాదాలు.
ధన్యవాదములండి జయశ్రీ గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. నౌ లెట్స్ గో ఫర్ జనగణమన.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय जय
జై. ధన్యవాదములండి చిట్టిబాబు గారు. నౌ లెట్స్ గో ఫర్ క్వశ్చన్ ఆన్సర్ సెషన్.
ఓకే, పద్మావతి గారు, యూ కెన్ అన్మ్యూట్ అండ్ టాక్.
నమస్కారం గురువు గారు. ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ ప్రాణాయామ రేచక పూరక ప్రాణాయామ రేచక పూర్వక. ప్లీజ్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ వన్ మోర్ టైం దీస్ టూ డేస్.
Normal pranayama, reshika means breathing out and puraka means breathing in. Correct? Here he is explaining in the Brahmajnana Vedanta perspective giving up, the air is equated to giving up all ajnana. Nishedhanam prapanchasya rechakakhya samiranaha. Rejecting the worldliness is giving up the breathing, that is rechaka is interpreting. And the poraka is brahmaivaham asmiti ya vritti sa porakaha. So brahmaivaham అనేటువంటి vritti porakam, and maintaining that kumbhakam, holding that. Tatastad vritti naischarya kumbhaka prana samyamaha. Being established in that state of brahmaivaham is the kumbhaka. So he is adding new dimensions to ordinary breathing in, breathing out, and holding of the breath. Okay.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Next.
అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి బాబు గారు. పంతులు గారు చెప్పండి.
Gurubhyo Namaha, Guru Garu. So this regarding Purjanma of previous class lesson, sir. This Lord Vishnu has Dasavataras. It may not be considered as Punarjanma for him because he is universal omnipresent and in different shapes. But in human beings, just like this Satya Sai Baba, he is saying that I have next generation at such particular place, at particular name by particular district, like that he clearly told. Is it possible to answer?
Well, it may be possible for very advanced level of yogis, Siddha Purushas, like even in the case of Dalai Lama, they will say that they will search and then they will say that this particular boy in this particular village is the reincarnation of the previous Dalai Lama, therefore he should be made Dalai Lama. They say that it is up to them. So it may be possible for such Siddha Purushas, if you recognize such Sai Baba as a Siddha Purusha, that is possible. But if you don't recognize him as Siddha Purusha, it is not possible. Siddha Purushas will have those special siddhis, special powers. Not all, very few have it.
Okay, there is one question in the chat box. Are you finished, Ravindra Garu? Yeah, okay, thank you. Do Sankhya and Yoga tell about ultimate reality? What is ultimate reality according to Yoga?
Yeah. Yoga, ultimate reality is undefined. It is only the self, drashta. Yogas chittavritti nirodha tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. The true nature, drashta. So the drashta is the observer, feeler, thinker, enjoyer, the self, right? I. That is yourself, I, myself. So the nature of the self is the ultimate reality of yoga, which is realized in the state of yoga, chittavritti nirodha, which is fructified completely in samadhi. The other things are preparatory for reaching that. And what is that swarupa of drashta is not explained in yoga, but it is explained in the Upanishads. Ayam Atma Brahman, this self is Brahman. So if you do the samanvaya between yoga and Vedanta, then you will realize that self, the capital S self, which is Brahman, which is Purusha, that is the ultimate reality. And because yoga is nothing but Sankhya, so in Sankhya also, Asangoyam Purusha, that is the last sutra, to realize that Purusha is unattached, unaffected, untouched, Asangaha, Ayam Purusha. To realize that is moksha. Because if the Purusha, the man or consciousness or the self, is identifying, connected and attached with the Prakriti, then the problem is coming. of birth and death and misery and so on and so forth. If it realizes it is not concerned with Prakriti, it is independent. Asangaha, asangoyam purushaha. This is the last sutra of Sankhya Darshana, and Sankhya is the foundation of Yoga Darshana. So you can say that is the ultimate reality. The word Brahman is not there anywhere in Sankhya and Yoga. Purusha is there, Prakriti is there, Drashta, Atman. Atman realizing itself as Purusha. In the Vishnu Sahasranama, you'll have all these as equivalent words. Avyayaha, Purushaha, Sakshi, Kshetrajnaha, Akshara evacha. So Brahman is the word used in Vedanta Darshana, which is Uttaramimamsa, which is much later in time sequence also. Vyasa is much later in time sequence to Patanjali and Kapila. Okay, next question.
Okay. What is Pratyavaya doshas? I don't know.
No, I have not mentioned any such doshas here, right?
Sarla Dev Garu, you can unmute and just a minute. I'll unmute everyone so that you can unmute and yeah. Now everyone can unmute. Sarla Dev Garu, you can unmute and talk. Raise
Guruji,
your question.
Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Guruji. This is general doubt, Dharma Sandeham. I just happened to hear this word yesterday in Ramayana Pravachana, so I wanted to know what is Pratyavaya doshas. If you can just tell me.
No, why are you asking general doubts? Anyway, Pratyavaya dosha is nothing concerned with Yoga Darshana or Vedanta.
Okay, Guruji.
It is something else.
Okay. Now the other question is, does Puranas tell about ultimate reality? What is ultimate reality according to Puranas?
Puranas means not just one. There are many Puranas. 18 Puranas are there. Mahapuranas are there. Upapuranas are there. Rajasic Puranas, Tamasic Puranas, Sattvic Puranas. So Bhagavata Purana is explaining the ultimate reality as Narayana, Vishnu, which is one explanation of same Parabrahman, Om. In Shiva Purana, the same Parabrahman is explained as Shiva. So, as I told you many times in the past lectures, Adi Shankaracharya himself gave 6 devatas as upasana paddhatis for reaching Brahma Jnana. Shiva is one, Vishnu is another, Shakti is another, Ganapati is another, Kartikeya, Subramanya is another, and finally Surya or Navagrahas is 6. Shanmata Sthapanacharya, he was given the title. This exercise he did it in Kanchipuram after establishing all the 4 Shankar Mats. But these 6 are expandable into many. There were totally 72 religions before him. He reduced to 6, and convergence of all the 6 with one Om, Parabrahman, Brahmajnanam, Advaita, Siddhanta, he has presented. So each of these 6 can be expanded, like Surya is expanded into Navagrahas, and Vishnu is expanded into all the 24 avatars. You are thinking only 10 avatars, there are 24 total. And like Rama, Krishna, all are upasya, the avatars. And Shiva also has many manifestations, Virabhadra, Dakshinamurti, and different circumstances, different moods and manifestations. So also Ganapati as an Ashta Ganapatis are there, and Murugan, you have the Murugan worship, Kartikeya, Skandha, Subramanya in South India in a big way. So and Shakti, of course, we have the Ashtadasa Shakti Pithas are there. So we have all the different devatas who are being worshipped in various temples, Shakti Pithas, and also in the Jyotirlingas, Shiva only in all Jyotirlingas. So entire Hindu religion, which we are practicing today, is Puranic Hinduism. So each one of these devatas is a part or amsha or a gateway or one manifestation of the Supreme Parabrahman, Om. In Sikhism, they worship Om itself, Ek Onkar.
Okay. There are no more questions.
No, I expected more serious questions. Most of the questions were not serious enough for this text session.
Yeah,
I strongly recommend all of you to read the text and listen to the video again, at least once, if not twice or thrice, to get to understand the subject as such, which I have covered. Don't ask me questions which are not related to the subject.
right. Yes. Yeah, the 3-day sessions are really exciting. I think people have to digest, read, as you said, see the videos again and go through the text given to them and then come back with any questions if they have. Thank you very much, Prabhu Garu. Now it's over to you, Babu Garu.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no other questions, we'll stop the recording. Then we will have little interaction.